Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Sunless Skies. Take these to the avid horizon. Find the displeased. They might assist my flock. Find these guides, these psychopomps of petty suffering. Give them these, and ask them to come here. That is what the bedraggled parson said to us when handing us the leaflets to take to the avid horizon. We have not seen the word the displeased, I don't believe. I'm starting to become worried that the person that we chose not to give supplies to out in the mist might have been the way we access the thing that we're supposed to do here. There's certainly nothing at the home office that suggests the presence of any group of people called the displeased. But here's my plan. We're going to go to the Stair to the Sea. I think that that was probably worth looking into, and if we can't find them at the Stair to the Sea, we're going to have to wait some amount of time before we can come back and offer that sad gentleman supplies. If we can make it out to the Most Serene Mausoleum, we should be okay. So, yeah, that's the plan. Through the Stair to the Sea, out to the Most Serene Mausoleum. We definitely have enough fuel to make that trip, as long as I don't waste it foolishly. So, let's go for it. And hope that nothing horrible befalls us in the interim, which seems actually 100% possible. Who knows? Who knows what kind of stuff is waiting out here for us? We have definitely seen some things that I do not feel prepared to deal with. Do we know? Yeah, okay, we can go around these. I'm just trying to catalog here, like... Okay, that's one. That's one. What I was about to say, I'm just trying to catalog here the weird, terrifying things that we've seen that we still don't really have a good sense of what they are or how to deal with them. And yeah, that, for one thing. There are those larger versions of the scribe spinsters. We've seen those around here, but I'm not too concerned about that. I'm fairly certain that that is something we could solve with our guns, if maybe we might, even if we might have a hard time doing so. Then, of course, there's whatever it was that we saw chasing that ship out by the storm, that soy sauce thing. Yeah, that, one of those. Christ. It's directly between us and the port. Okay, we're going to turn off the light. Just sail straight for port and try not to get its attention. Get in, get in, get in. Well, it is definitely aware of me. Okay, we'll be with you in just a moment there, sir. The Stair to the Sea. A narrow ledge is lodged into the ice here. We've been down on this ledge. Let us board the Flotilla. It is considered polite to bring an offering. I think we have things to bring as offerings. We could probably afford to sacrifice some supplies. The winds rattle the iron railings, as though trying to throw you from the stair into the churning sea hundreds of feet below. You cleave hard to the block of ice, its chill on your cheek as you make the slow descent. Your fingers are thoroughly frozen by the time you reach the bottom, and stand on the rusted iron platform that marks the beginnings of the flotilla, which would be that tangle of ships that we can see beneath us. Sea all around is shrouded in rolling mist. You can make out boats nearby, bobbing forlornly in the freezing water. Some are roped together, others set apart. Man. You know, you see one terrifying otherworldly creature, and your brain just completely shuts off. Lights speckle the water. Cultists still dwell in at least some of the old steamships. This platform is deathly silent, however. No one is here to greet you. Aha! The parson asked you to meet with the displeased. Well, let's see if they would like some leaflets. Who doesn't love to be handed leaflets? There's nothing here save for the cold and the teethed wind, tracing fingers down your spine. No one is nearby. If you're going to talk to the displeased, you'll need to go further. You'll need to find the acolytes here and gain their favor before you'll be able to persuade them to travel. If you have not yet encountered the acolytes, leave an offering to convince them of your piety. You will need to be embraced by the displeased before you can speak of this subject. Okay, well, let us then try to make an offering. The sea is peopled with the forgotten and the abandoned. It is customary to leave an offering at the flotilla. For help, for hope, for home. Perhaps someone will come to collect it. At the height of its powers, the Home Office processed tens of thousands of petitioners seeking entry to Albion. Some were rejected or left to seek appeals or help from Albion, caught in limbo between the office and the gate. Yeah, we definitely read this before. So we could leave some coins, 100 sovereigns. We could leave some fuel. We could leave some food. I think we're okay to leave food. We have enough supplies to do what we need to do, I think. And if we don't have enough supplies, then, we run out of fuel first anyway. Your crew do not complain as you order a crate opened and emptied over the side of the flotilla. They stand by your side as cans and flasks splash into the water. You can see the reflected gazes staring into the depths. Left food at the end of the horizon. A voice in the mists. A figure in an antiquated frock coat steps out of the mist. A fine evening to you. We were impressed with your offering. Oh, okay. The man lowers his hood. His features are strident, striking, made all the more so by the lattice of tattoos marking his face like a verdant birthmark. He extends his hands. The Word made flesh, and you have fed ours. We would be glad, the supralapsarians and I, to welcome you to our little enclave in the flotilla. He lowers his cloak to expose his tattooed collarbone. But first, you must read. I must read your flesh. I will do that. Should we ask a question? No, he said, but first you must read. Let's read. The tattoos on his collar are a jumble of words and pictures. You make out a crab and a cave, a candle and a roof. You recite the words you find there. I am home. He embraces you, bony arms wrapped around your frame like stumbling into a coffin. Yes, you are home. Follow me. We're all at the flotilla at the moment. I dislike the arrangement, but there are too few of us to survive alone. If you like, I shall teach you to read. He says read with a weighty, portentous inflection, the way I often say words that I've decided are important in these sentences. Apparently that's all it takes to be initiated into the supralapsarians. Bring 5 sheafs of ministry-approved literature to the illuminated archivists. Or to the archivist. Boy, I hope we don't have to do that in order to distribute our leaflets. Here, among abandoned boats on the quiet sea, the similarly abandoned and forgotten of Albion have made their homes. The cults share this space, for warmth and for shelter. Some boats are covered, others converted into makeshift anchorages, refectories, and cells. Hopeful acolytes flock to one ecstatic figure or another, raving about this doctrine or that. Your new friends are one cult among 3. The sanctified, the loose collection of souls who follow the jolly anchorite, are communal, fraternal, jovial. The supralapsarians, who follow the illuminating archivist, do everything by their book when they can agree upon the interpretation. The displeased treat distrust as a virtue, and betrayal as a sacrament. A woman is lying on a wheel that sits atop a pole that rises over the flotilla. She does not speak, but only watches the gate. Okay, so we gotta try to get in here with the displeased. If we leave, we will not be able to return for some time, and we will lose all of our embraced qualities. That's interesting. Let us... I guess let's chat with the people we can chat with, right? First, the Silent Mystic. Her wheel is accessible by a flimsy rope ladder rising up through the mists. She is rarely disturbed by the other acolytes, though they watch her intently. The Silent Mystic. We don't... Okay. No, we did not get any information about her yet. The woman lies on the wheel, her eyes on the looming shadows of the gate. She does not bother to look your way as you reach the top of the ladder. Rotting fruits, dried flowers, and tarnished nameplates lie ignored at the edge of the wheel. Hey, can I borrow some of those nameplates, maybe? Yeah, sure. Let's attempt to speak to her. I'm new here. Perhaps she'll find that interesting. Lose your mind, join a cult. What a good heading. She rolls back her head to gaze at you. Her mouth twitches downward. A hand lolls listlessly in your direction. I do not sense the hunger of the true ascetic in you. Wear the name, the knife, wear the book. Begone, and waste not my time. Her eyes roll back. Return when you have learned something. If one of the cults claims you as their own full initiate, then I might be interested in speaking to you. Okay, that's strange. Why would that be that way? Alright, well, I guess let's have a quick chat with the Illuminated Archivist, because I'm not 100% sure what it would mean to be supralapsarian. Maybe he will be willing to divulge. He has built a hideaway inside the cargo hold of a rotting London steamer. The stamp of the Crown and Misery Company gleams in the candlelight, recently polished. Faded paintings of old music hall acts adorn the wall. Tables cram the hold, littered with hideous and broken ornaments. Shepherdesses, kittens, the tentacled rubbery men of old London all vie for your eye. Okay, well, I cannot request readings of the Word without a ministry-approved literature, and we don't actually want to get in with the supralapsarians anyway. We need to figure out how to hang out with the displeased. Every acolyte has a favored spot in the flotilla to take their kip. The politics of one's sleeping arrangements are complicated here. Your choices here will affect the dispositions of the cults toward you. Favor with a cult can generate rewards or occasionally open options while pursuing other objectives. Where will we lay our head at night? Because you were selected by one of the leaders of the mystics to uncover their sacred mysteries, you may sleep where you like. Everyone is eager to see what you choose. There isn't much to do here. Oh, boy. Okay. The sanctified are communal. The supralapsarians do everything by their book. The displeased treat distrust as a virtue and betrayal as a sacrament. So, strengthened by community and strengthened by tradition. This is, the jovial ones. Sanctified. This is the book. This is the other one. A crow's nest, a lonely eyrie, far above the mists. You are strengthened by solitude. After a brief moment of awkwardness when one of the displeased climbs into the nest, sees you, and then immediately descends into the mist again, you spend a chilly and undisturbed evening alone. You have not actively upset the displeased. I mean, that's better than most social engagements go for me. Okay, now there is some singing to be done, apparently. On rising, there is singing. For some, a morning chorus. For others, a lament. Lungs swell. Alright, let's figure out what is the most displeased way to sing. The flotilla's dwellings are made of broken boats and battered carpentry. Mists, luminous and sinuous, stake through the gaps. Voices carry on the breeze. Each could be just beside you, or stood on a distant deck. I assume that on's not supposed to be there. Here there are no echoes. The sky swallows all songs. All sing nonetheless. What do you sing of? Well, I'm going to again assume that the riot and revel of it sounds like the sanctified. Of the place you left behind, or of loss? Of the place you left behind. Well, I don't think that the description of the supralapsarians here necessarily sounds much like caring about your home, but the fact that the other option that was clearly theirs, described being strengthened by tradition, suggests to me that this is the option that's associated with them. Let's go of loss. Your voice is raw and hoarse. You're not sure there's a tune, but there is an abundance of feeling. Private torments carry on the wind, harmonizing with your own. Whispers wash in from somewhere to the north. Flotilla is shrouded in a hush, and the displeased have discovered you. They do not like you. Alright, well then, let's give confession. This seems straightforward enough. At this hour, the acolytes purge themselves of their sins. Confessions are to be given and to be received. You are expected to take part. Well, far be it from me to rock the boat. The acolyte smiles as you kneel in front of her. A bowl of salt water is between you. You do not speak to each other, but to the water, which will drown your secrets. Your eyes meet in the bowl. Her smile widens in encouragement. Okay, so despair, right? Sentiment is the supralapsarians. Maybe. Longing for things to be as they were, that might be the Superlapsarians. So, yeah, sentiment's definitely got to be the sanctified, right? So, despair is definitely the displeased. I feel confident of that. I've pleased the sanctified, damn it. The acolyte takes your hand in hers. Her skin is wrinkled and soft. There was despair when they came to that place, but it was in error, for there the saints thrived. Look at us now without them. We followed their path. One day we too shall be free of it. She leans in to whisper her own confession to the bowl. Okay, I'm invited to join the revelry if that's the sort of thing that I would like to do. What will I do with the confession I've heard? It's a good question. This is the hour in which the acolytes decide what to do with their confessions. The Superlapsarians have elaborate rituals surrounding confessions. The other acolytes have mimicked their example, and used this hour to keep or betray the confessions they recently heard. Whatever you do here may already have been done to you. Well, betraying it is definitely in keeping with the description of the displeased that we saw above. You locate the person most invested in hearing the confession and reveal it. They react strongly. Gossip and recrimination ignites across the flotilla. Faces redden. Arguments break out. No one seems to remember that you were the source. The displeased breed contempt from their familiarity with your person. Okay. And that's about the best I could hope for, right? Let us speak with the displeased on behalf of the Worlebury parson. He sensed a kinship between the displeased and they who must grieve. Now that the displeased tolerate you, you may offer the parson's leaflets without the acolytes recoiling. I'm a little worried about that iconography, but okay, this seems like this will work. Not all the displeased accept your vellum offerings. Those that do withdraw to cold corners to consider the parson's words. You do not know whether he promised betrayal or suffering or merely comradeship with a being that holds their virtues in greater sum than any human could. But a few gather their meager possessions and make ready to leave, eagerly anticipating greater disappointments. These acolytes relish abandoning their colleagues and extinguishing the few sparks of sentiment that still smolder in broken hearts. They'll see you again at the church of they who must grieve. And yeah, I'm just so eager to spend more time with them, you know? Well, I suppose, let us return to the cult in the off-season. We do still have to worry about the thing that's hanging out there. But I think we're done here. All right. We're at full hull, right? We are indeed. We can just try to kill it. I think that's what we're here to do. It is, after all, a video game. So that seems bad. Don't get caught in that. Let me turn my light back on. A scorn fluke. Interesting. Ow. Okay, well, I'm officially terrible at shooting today. Does that have any effect at all, you think? Okay. Come on, come on, come on. We're just gonna run, I think, is the plan now. I'm definitely concerned. Where am I going? I'm swinging through the mausoleum. Yeah, we're just gonna run, because I'm not having a good... Well, you know what? Maybe around the rock, where we can use the rock as cover. We could just fight it at favorable angles and run away the rest of the time. Ah, it led me. It's too smart. Give this another little shot or two here. I'm doing a horrible job of aiming. Okay. I probably dodged late enough that it wouldn't have had any effect. Maybe we should just go. He's kind of stuck on the other side of that rock. Let's just bail. Well, the good news is it doesn't instantly kill you. So now we know that. Just swing by here and grab these hours real fast. We we are probably not going to... Yeah, we're definitely not going to make it to London. We're going to have to go to the Mausoleum. I sort of want to go get those, but, like, if it ends up just being an unidentifiable squirming, we probably won't be able to bring it all the way to Worlebury anyway, right? It does say they are limited in time. Well, I do hear the sweet sounds of somebody killing a dreadnought. We don't actually need another moment of inspiration, but I sure would love to have one. Oh, what are we at nameplates now? Like 5? Of course, if we get to a place where I'm like... In order to trade in the nameplates, we have to be willing to go all the way to Lustrum. Look, I'm helping. Oh, maybe to my own detriment a little bit. My hope here is that of the 4 ships engaged in combat right now, we can be the sole survivors. That's not what I wanted. You may be surprised to find out. Okay, yes, strip it for parts immediately. Last barrel of fuel. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Surprise! Oop. Bad surprise. There we go. Strip it for parts. Then we grab his navigation suite. Okay, another chart. 6 nameplates. Then we hit this, and I am not... Are we going to go from here to London, or are we going to go from here to Worlebury? Because we do kind of want to have terror when we hit Worlebury. Let's just break open a coffin. That was pretty valuable. Oh. Well, we're certainly going to have some terror. Man, that was a hell of a dodge he executed there. Alright, we are not going to try to engage the Scribe Spinster head-on, because I'm just going to get shot that way. He does seem to kind of not even be coming in my direction. We probably ought to go to London, right? Just in case I get into trouble. Yeah, I can't tell if he wants to fight me or not. Behaving very erratically. That's a pretty good start. He's smoking a little bit, or whatever it is that he's full of is coming out. Alright, one more good one. I think. Not quite gonna work. Okay, that was a pretty profitable fight. Let's see if we can't get some bronzewood off of him. So yeah, we definitely have a lot of stuff in the hold that I pretty much just need to sell. Also, we took on a lot of terror there. Alright, let's stop by the Mausoleum real quick and refuel, because we are just about to run all the way out of fuel. And I'm finding that rereading the text on things that I'm not 100% clear on has been very helpful lately. You know what? That'll probably still be there. Like, I do not want to mess around right now. We have to get a barrel of fuel. So let's go and actually reread the text on the option to follow the Chamberlain, because it may end up being the case that I am missing some things, the same way I was missing attend a Skyfarer's funeral. We've done the Miser's funeral option a bunch of times. Let's trade a sky story for something. Okay, we traded it for a reasonable terror reduction. I think that's okay, considering how little terror, or how little value sky stories have. Let's definitely write a port report. We can listen to the will of the people. That seems like a thing I ought to do as a member of parliament and everything. You listen with appropriate amounts of care to each person who begs a moment of your time. The majority are local issues not worth bringing up in parliament, but occasionally inspiration strikes for a new law. You promise with a practiced politician's sincerity that even if there is nothing you can do, you will do it to the best of your ability. They seem mollified by that. I have taken note of the will of the people. Also, while we're here, we should gain some favor, right? Oh, can I not? Because I have favor, maybe am I not able to speak to... Yeah, I guess our option to speak to that one Deathless who lets us trade a little bit of terror gain for more favor is not available. Well, I am kind of curious, like, what would we gain from this? Oh, she was the one who told us to go find her daughter at Perdurance, wasn't she? Okay. We do have two different options to speak with her. I'm assuming that it will not help us to do that, since we have not yet found her daughter. And I don't want to expend my, my favor just yet. Is there anything else we haven't done here? What did we actually get out of contemplating the dead sun? Oh, a vision of the heavens. That's kind of whatever. We can inter our aunt, but I don't want to do that. Is our aunt occupying... Yeah, she's occupying a post that we don't have anybody else for. Oh, right. Drop off the crew of the boatman. Totally forgot about this. The captain fiddles with her cufflinks as she accompanies you to the office of the Necropolis line. Her crew have scurried away. You don't have to come in, she says, not looking at you. But the manager's not going to be pleased. If you'd put in a good word... She trails off. You've arrived at the unobtrusive black-painted door of the office. The knocker bears a grinning silver skull. Inside, the office is funerary, draped in indigo, and accented with fussy silver fixtures. The line manager looks up from his desk and glowers at the captain. Where the bloody hell have you been? Well, she did try to incinerate people, but she sort of didn't really think of them as people at the time. I don't know if that's exculpating or maybe more of a horrifying failure on her part. I'm not a big fan of members of the upper class ought to look out for each other. She does kind of suck, but she was scared. Yeah, but she does kind of suck. She did try to incinerate people. The line manager fumes. The captain makes a mess of her story. The line manager doesn't credit a word of it, but is more than happy to believe the worst of his employees. You are seen out, but not without a hefty purse from the line manager, for your discretion. The boatman is ready to take to the skies again, crewed only by the willing dead. So, are we done with this boatman thing? Like, they said they had enough coffins to burn as fuel to get to a refueling place, but like that train was very non-functional. I wonder if we should go out there and visit them again. Maybe. Alright, did we visit the memorial to the Prince Consort before? I think we did. Do we want to reduce terror? You have the ability to gain terror just like at Worlebury, but do I want to spend money to reduce terror if I'm just going to intentionally drive my terror back up? Is that wasteful? No, I think let's just go this way. Let's refresh the text. What is it that I need to do here? Something about my heart being gripped by ice, right? The floor cracks and creaks underfoot. The walls part, a beam of moonlight breaks through. A gorgeously swollen moon hangs in the sky above. After the stale heat of the crypt, the cool air is a blessed relief. Did we have this option before? Huh. Wait a minute. Is this... Because it said something about bright eyes, right? Do I have bright eyes? Is this a vision of the heavens? It has the word vision right in it. Okay, maybe we didn't need to interact with the waste wave. I just needed to be really scared. Well, that's fortuitous. The walls part. A beam of moonlight breaks through. The ceiling vanishes. The walls part like the curtains of a stage. A path of silver light unfurls from the moon above. A solemn procession marches down the moonlight road toward you. Most of the white-robed figures are bare-handed, but one thrusts a blade of black iron overhead. Another reverentially holds up a stone goblet. See, this is another one of those things where I kind of thought we were doing poetry, and it turned out to be a literal description. For you who have seen things both wondrous and terrible, says the cupbearer, laying the cup carefully at your feet, choose to live beneath the light and mourn. Then she is gone. The vault closes back around you, more oppressive than ever. Our terror has fallen. We lost our vision of the heavens. We gained a fair amount of XP, and you are slipping further and further into a world that no longer exists. That's a little concerning. So we just had a really weird vision. That doesn't tell me a ton about where the guy went. You reacquaint yourself with the scab-mottled walls, the stained floor. A leather-bound book is sitting carefully propped up only a few feet from you. That's curious. How did we miss that before? I'll tell you how we missed that before, is that it was not there. From the name scrawled on the inlay in erratic handwriting, it appears to be the Dismal Chamberlain's journal. The rest is written in code. You'll have to examine it when you're aboard the engine. With nothing else demanding your attention in the vault, you begin the long, torturous journey back up thousands of narrow steps to the Nave. We're having to climb a lot of narrow stairs today. Gather 3 sky stories to begin translating the code. Gee, how will I ever manage? Okay, well that's good then. Yeah, let's go to let's not go to the train immediately. Let's first of all remember to buy the things that we so desperately need to survive. Okay. Now, here at the bazaar, I mean, we may as well take on all this crockery, right? We'll just swing through London on the way out to Worlebury, because we have a lot of stuff that we want to sell. We got our port report already. How am I to interact with this book? Does it appear in my officers list by any chance? No. I have to explore it on the train, right? Where the hell? There's so many quests in our log at this point. Long passage. Nope, that ain't the right thing. Okay, the Chamberlain's absence. Gather 3 sky stories, and you will work on translating the code while you travel. Okay, so just travel, I guess. Since we have no other... Boy. Okay, there we go. There we go. I figured it out eventually. Did that loot particle despawn? Yes, it did. Okay, that's fine. I mean, the thing is, I'm not 100% sure we would have made it out to the particle and then actually back to the dock before running out of fuel. So, I think it was reasonable to do things the way we did them there. Alright, let's go hit London and empty stuff out a little bit. The journal is a frustrating document, written in both terrible handwriting and a near-impenetrable code. It would probably be easier to study if I wasn't doing it while we were firing weapons. Much of what you can painstakingly decipher is meaningless without context. Scattered phrases like chimeric moonlight, a golden day, and death in amber. Most of all, the same phrase again and again, the Martyr King's Cup. You study it through the night. It seems to offer no clue to the Chamberlain's whereabouts, but you feel on the verge of some other tantalizing realization. A partial translation is achieved. You can only translate fragments of the journal, mostly through trial and error. It takes hours. From the scraps you can decipher, you gather that the central subject is something called the Martyr King's Cup, which reputedly holds the key to immortality. Why one of the Deathless would need such an object, you couldn't speculate. The Chamberlain was apparently obsessed with the cup. He declares a total commitment to finding it, even if it means abandoning his prestigious role at the Mausoleum. Well, alright, I think that it makes it pretty obvious what happened to him. Return to the Mausoleum and inform them... Man, okay. We will turn around and go back to the Mausoleum. Hold on, I'm gonna try to blow this guy up first. Come on, this would be a good time for the heat to vent. How did I miss that? That's very embarrassing, is what that is. Okay, well, we probably ought to just strip it for parts since I did such a bad job fighting it. Alright, well, let's just turn right back around and go back to the mausoleum. It seems like I could have done that while I was there. Also, what kind of weird situation would you have to be in for you to have to actually, like, go out and gather 3 sky stories? It might just be the huge abundance of sky stories that we always have could just be an element of my playstyle. It might not be the case that everyone always has them, but it really does seem like we just come across them constantly without trying, doesn't it? Okay, inform the engraved mourner of the Chamberlain's fate. He became a quester for the Martyr King's Cup, and has abandoned his role at the mausoleum. The Martyr King's Cup might make a good element for our canto. Mourner's tone is grim. Yes, we knew. The Chamberlain was always preoccupied by the deepest vaults. Too many visitors have gone down there and come back with strange ideas in their heads. He hands you a sheaf of documents. Maps from his office with his notes. They may prove useful. I'm giving them to you because the alternative is to burn them. Oh good, I'm like a garbage can. As you turn to leave, he raises a polished finger. Before you go, a warning. Fortunately for you, you have not been chosen to seek the cup, but you should ensure that the journal is destroyed. It can only lead others astray. Boy, that seems like the kind of thing our character would be really into, doesn't it? We got a chart, a secret, a bunch of XP. We've discovered the fate of the Dismal Chamberlain. See, but I sort of didn't, right? He said, yes, we knew. Did I discover anything that they didn't know already? Huh. That was a weird quest. Like, in a lot of games, I wouldn't bat an eye at this. It'd just be like, the writing is kind of whatever. But in this game, where so far I've liked the writing so much, this seems very strange. That, like, they were, the Chamberlain's gone and we don't know what happened to him. And then I find out and they were like, no, actually, we totally... I was just lying to you for no reason. There was no reason for me to tell you that we didn't know what happened to him. Unless something else is going on here that I'm not quite grasping. I don't know, whatever. There is an awful lot of stuff going on that I'm not quite grasping, I guess. I should be used to it by now. Alright, do we want to fight that grave robber down there? I sorta don't. Let's just go back to London. Sell some stuff, go back to Worlebury. It turns out we still have a tremendous number of things to do, and somehow I've already spent 40 minutes in this episode. Time flies when you're on a train that also is flying. Alright, interacting with that is going to make everybody sad. You know what, let's go around here. So if we don't have to interact with that waste wave thing, then I guess we don't really have a reason to have High Terror. We need to, like, stumble across another one of those fields of coffins. Or maybe, like, several more of them would be good. I guess we could send the scout out, see if he can find some for us. That's a terrible shot. I think I killed him by ramming there, actually. What do you think? I think we're actually headed back to London. Like, let's investigate the bodies, because we can just repair ourselves at London. I'm curious what unusual items might be available. A cabin has been opened to the cold, for the better preservation of the dead. The resurrectionists keep their handful of corpses admirably catalogued. The old dangle with the old, the young hang with the young. A neat logbook records their provenance and items collected. Okay, that's not a very good reward. Also, the Cavi discovered that there's stuff over this way. Okay, an old busted up locomotive. We do not want to interact with the big tombstone because that freaks everybody out. This, on the other hand, we could just... Nope, I do not, in fact, have the option of mourning the dead. Well, then, let's strip her for repairs, because we know that the stuff found in these wrecks is not very impressive. Wait, where am I? What the hell am I going? I want to... Okay. I need to go this way. Getting all turned around by looting. We don't really have a lot of good options for lowering our terror in London, do we? Oh, jeez. Oops, that's the wrong way. Ooh. Almost dodged directly into that projectile. Well, I don't think I want to fight both of them at the same time. I'm going to try to just make it to London. Or at least make it to a place where a juggernaut might interrupt this chase. Not a big fan of this thing that's happening. Still quite a trip from here. The good news is these guys are almost as bad at aiming as I am. Oh, I do not like them both right on top of me like this. Managed to narrowly escape that. If we can just, like, get around some corners here, we can probably lose them because they have a tendency to sort of list erratically from side to side. If it was just one of them, I would have fought. I don't know that it would be a good idea to take them both on. Alright, let's do this, and then we'll go back to the cult and see if we can't figure out what their whole deal is with all of the corpses that they worship inside of and everything. But we still have, like, a lot of... We're still uncovering new, extremely weird mysteries. It is a little bit hard for me to imagine this character retiring, to be perfectly honest with you. The Thing in the Mist. Okay, so apparently you can encounter the Thing in the Mist anywhere, not just in the place where you're actually in thick mists. Well, I think we hit something. Mists are thick, we could turn back and search for it. We could afford to drop a fuel here. Would use up fuel and there might be danger, but perhaps whatever you hit was valuable, or perhaps it needs help. Failure. You scour the mists. Abruptly, the wind picks up, throwing a hail of debris into your path. The ruin of an unfortunate locomotive thunders against your hull like a shotgun blast. You are forced to return, empty-handed and battered, to your original course. Okay, losing one hull. I guess that makes sense. I wouldn't think that a shotgun would be super effective against a train. Especially such a very fine train as ours. Okay. Steam and Sapphire Yards. As always, the first thing we must do here is repair our locomotive. Starting to feel very familiar. Then we have a port report or two to turn in. Is it 2? Yeah, I feel like we spend a lot of time flying around, and we're not actually getting a lot of reports per minute here. Alright, what do we want to... The Silken Salon's just a place where we could trade stuff in. Exploring London. We wander the streets, nothing happens, right? Yeah, alright. Well, no terror reduction for us here. I suppose we can reduce our terror in Worlebury, right? Let's sell some stuff. A lot of stuff, really. Do we have... What do we have in the way of... Okay, we want to bring back 3 crates of munitions to Port Prosper. But we have a ton of munitions in the bank. Hold on, before we sell anything. Let's bank that. I don't know what... Because I don't know what to do with it. Let's bank 1 barrel of ours for the trip back to the Reach. Although, after we go to the Reach, we still have to come back to Albion, because we finished the game in London, right? So I guess let's bank both of these barrels of ours. And then we're, like, holding on to a lot of stuff that we probably don't need to be holding on to. Let's see. At the Most Serene Mausoleum, they would like some nostalgic crockery, but we don't know that we necessarily will ever want to go back. Yeah, I think we might be done with that place. So we are still planning to wrap up the game pretty soon. We could probably afford to sell quite a bit of this stuff. But at the same time, we don't really have a strong impetus to, because it sells for the same amount no matter what, and we have infinite storage in the bank, right? We don't need the money right now, so I'm just going to store everything for the ease of fulfilling good contracts should we find good contracts. We already have a Bronzewood contract. Yeah, okay. Because we can, at the very worst, just sell all this stuff in New Winchester when we are buying the new locomotive, right? That being the case, let's probably even buy one more barrel of fuel. And I think we're ready to just go to Worlebury, right? We have done what the cult asked of us, and Worlebury is, if I'm not mistaken, where we are to pick up our new street line passenger, isn't it? Yep, from Worlebury to Lustrum. Well, I'll certainly at least take him on board. Who knows if we'll ever drop him off. We don't actually know what the best way to Worlebury is. Let's try to go through Simon's Nest. I'm willingly going to a place that's called a nest between here and whatever is happening out in the mist. Let's hope Simon is just the name of a nice young man who doesn't have any extra limbs or anything. No cilia crawling out of his scalp. You know, just a dude who's really into tea and football? That's a that's a good normal British thing, right? Supporter of West Ham? That's a thing? Oh no, we're not where we thought we were. Okay. Sky is wrong. This is not where you were meant to be. So we can retrace our path and drop 2 fuel. Harsh. Or press forward into stranger skies and hope that somewhere beyond you'll find familiar territories again. Which is only possible because we have not earned the wrath of the Waste Wave. Of course not. I am beloved by the Waste Wave. We could probably... They sell fuel at Worlebury? I don't remember. Let's roll the dice. I don't know if we can afford to lose 2 fuel or not. You order the crew to stand firm and hold the course as you traverse this uncanny fold of the sky. Eventually your navigator utters a grateful oath. A landmark. You are found again. Now, let's hope that this actually connects through and that we're not going to hit a big wall or chunk of something that we have to go way around. You know what? We almost certainly could have afforded to just lose the 2 fuel. We have a ton of fuel. I didn't need to roll the dice on that. Come on, find me something cool. He has found... Okay, he's found the station for the horological office. Not actually super relevant. I do appreciate him finding a place to dock the train, though. I wish that he would prioritize that over other stuff more frequently. Trying to stay out of everybody's way here. Definitely something to be said for just attacking random dreadnoughts in our position, but probably not in pairs. Let's try going around this way. Okay, this looks like it is going to end up being a pretty direct path. Well, maybe I shouldn't speak too soon. Time must behave very strangely around what is left of Big Ben. Doesn't it seem like it's chiming just all the time? I don't actually know how Big Ben works, how frequently it's supposed to do that, but it's probably not every 40 seconds. Also, it's probably not supposed to terminate very suddenly like that. Alright, which direction? We actually need to be going way further south. Way further toward the star that we arbitrarily call south. Although I guess I'm saying that like that's some kind of weird thing. On Earth, we also sort of arbitrarily picked a direction to call south. Or picked an arbitrary word for the direction that we call south, depending on how you want to look at it, I suppose. Why am I getting XP for... Like, we were definitely here already. That's a little strange. Now listen, if they want to give me 600 XP every time I show up, I guess I won't complain about it too loudly. Alright, let's go meet up with our cult. Welcome to Worlebury. Wait, hold on a second. Perhaps not. The Mists are the welcome back event. We don't want to really... We don't want to offer sanctuary. Let's just join in the Song of the Mists. What does this actually do? As the final harmony dies with it, peace is restored. Even the memory of the song and your part in its choir fades from memory. Looking down, there is something in your hand. A doll embedded with many small sticks and bound with rope. It has no face, but its stare is no blanker than those on the faces of the people surrounding you. Man, this place is creepy. I guess the upside is that we are going to have a hard time remembering how creepy it is. So we do have a permit. I don't remember if we have a use for these permits. We can bribe our way through the door to the off-season very cheaply. Let's just do that. Okay. So, a mere 60 sovereigns, and let us go... we want to go for a walk along the beach, because that's where the church is, right? We'll visit the cult. We will not take any donkey eggs. Alright, I did what I was told to do. Time to tell the parson. If you take this choice, you will no longer be able to work with the Bureau of Entertainments. They will not trust you. I think that's fine. We probably wouldn't get along with them anyway. And I'm very curious about all this cult nonsense. We have the bedraggled parson warbles, fingers steepled over his mouth. He weighs the next word like a heart on a scale. A transfer. And there are more coming to our doors. The cult of the displeased is generous, generous indeed. After all, we are the same, united in this study of suffering. Thank you. They who must grieve know you now, and they wait for when they may offer you their gratitude. I am all about accepting gratitude. We can get to that right now if you want. They who must grieve sent a dream. In it was your face wreathed in brass and kelp, and your eyes were the color of stars. Agree to commune with the Scornfluke. Wasn't Scornfluke... Wait, was Scornfluke the name of that thing that we ran away from down by the Avid Horizon? I guess I'm agreeing to commune with a thing. I do not know why they've asked you for this honor. They who must grieve are gods, and we are but the bacterium birthed in the gases of their breath. But I know they dream of you, and I know they would have us dream of you too. He passes you a bell, verdigris green and smooth as sea glass. Despite the clarity of its surface, your reflection is absent. That's worrying. Everything about this is so worrying. Enter the mists, and call them with this. Okay, what is verdigris, actually? Let's go back to using Google. This is the part of the game where SB learns new words. Verdigris, maybe? A bright bluish-green incrustation or patina formed on copper or brass by atmospheric oxidation. Oh! It's like what's on the outside of the Statue of Liberty. When I saw the word at first, I was like, ew, the stuff comes out of a whale, but that's ambergris. That's a different thing. Alright, let us go commune with that thing I'm terrified of. Why not? Prepare to meet the Scornfluke. You march to the circle of waiting cultists. We may have screwed up here. This might have been a bad idea. In silence, you are tethered not to ropes, but to filaments of green leather. Your wrists, your ankles, the joints of your arms and legs. These are lovingly encircled. It is surprisingly painless, even comfortable. The bedraggled parson himself fits a noose about your throat, his eyes hot with worship. Somewhere, far from you, you can almost hear weeping. Shh. I am not given the option to resist, but I feel like maybe we ought to resist. Thus secured, you grasp the signal cord and nod to the cultists. You are rolled over the edge and lowered into the mists. What do you think the odds are that I've just gotten our character killed, so very close to finishing our ambition? The phrase, his eyes hot with worship, is not the way you ever want someone who is tying a noose around you to be described. This is not terrifying at all. Not the thin leather filaments holding your body, not the jerky descent into the fog, the cottony silence. But at least the cheerful cultists at the shore seem optimistic about your chances. I will signal to go lower. We should maybe have lowered our terror before engaging in this event. You bounce your left wrist twice. The ropes slacken, and you plunge with terrifying speed. This here is the moment where our character's obsessive need to know, our burning desire, must meet up with our burning desire to keep living, right? At some point, the latter of those things is going to overpower the former. I guess that's how our character ends up retiring, isn't it? We go one step too far, and he decides, nope, you know what, I'm done learning. Now I know enough, maybe too much. The mists seem almost bilious the further you go, enraged by your encroachment. It churns and swirls, making faces or what something that has never had a body might believe to be faces. Eyes bloom like so many flowers, accompanied by swirls of teeth and tongue. It's all illusion, of course, a trick of the cognition. Maybe. Is it possible that the entirety of the mist is some kind of thing? Like, okay, hold on. Let's maybe not ask a lot of questions. There's still text coming. We will have time for more questions. Another quick tug on the rope. You go deeper. As you plunge further into the mists, the phantasms acquire more solidity. Serpentine bodies, Piscine forms. Probably serpentine bodies, Piscine forms. Serpentine as a verb, serpentine as an adjective, maybe? I don't know. Now it is an entire ecosystem of them, Ouroborosian and hungry and indifferent. Now they are the faces of those who'd forgotten. Now their bodies, teeming with coral and glittering beetles. Now they're watching you, and they are smiling, baby teeth bared between feathered antennae. The mists are they who must grieve. Right, that must be what it is. I had thought originally that they who must grieve applied to the congregation, but then it seemed like it didn't, and I was wondering when we were going to be introduced. And maybe we have been introduced for quite some time, but we just didn't understand. Talking about this game makes me sound like a crazy person. Well, one more tug, I must almost be there, right? The mists become a chiaroscuro of hard shadows, halogen and ink. The writhing halts. Almost it feels as though the mists might be holding its breath, might be waiting, might be watching you. Or, perhaps, they're watching something else. Something brushes against you, a barbed tendril wider than a grown man is tall. It explores the filaments holding you, touches them softly, even as an eye, swollen and crimson and colossal, flashes briefly into view. Okay, we're familiar with that. I know that guy. Ugh, I am concerned. It is time! Behold the fluke. Through the tendriling mists, a scorn fluke regards your approach, a cyclopean presence, over-encumbered with spare corneas. Hey, cyclopean, I get it. That's wordplay in this circumstance. Or we could just... Oh, do we want to ring the bell, though? If I ring the bell, am I going to be eaten? Is it going to eat me, is my question. I cannot soothe the scorn fluke and silence its grief, because I have not commingled with choirs. Not nearly enough. Well, that's interesting. I wonder how I would do that. Let's complete the ritual. Let's maybe not spend too much time down here looking too closely at anything, although it's very much in the character to spend some effort to behold this thing, right? And maybe try to get a quick sketch. Alright. Something is very wrong with this scorn fluke. Yeah. For one, it possesses an eye, red-veined as though it had spent eons in ceaseless lamentation. The scorn fluke, its species usually possessed by a jagged geometry, looks diseased, its body warped and weeping with cancers, cysts of unnatural dimensions. Aberration that it might be, the scorn fluke remains a primordial revelation, ancient and so steeped in anguish that the air itself twists in commiseration. This isn't pain as mortals might know it, but something almost holy in its vastness, and an entire cosmology of suffering contorted into a being. You know, we're kind of lucky that we ran into another one of those things and that we got close enough to it to see what it's called, because otherwise this would make a lot less sense to us. I feel like we've gotten pretty fortunate sometimes in this game, although sometimes in ways that do not seem at the time to be fortune. At least not the kind you like. Alright. Let's do it. Let's ring the bell. Probably the parson did not bring me here to get et, right? Like, there's an awful lot of effort to prepare me. Probably they have a larger purpose in mind. You ring the bell. It sounds like nothing, like the absence of music, like the glissade of breath before a soprano raises her voice to sing. It sounds nothing like that. And then, all at once, the scorn fluke is pressed close, skin's width away. I read this as, it sounds nothing like that, and I was like, oh, so it doesn't even, it's so nothing that it doesn't sound like nothing. But what this probably is supposed to be is, it sounds nothing like that. Aha. And then all at once the scorn fluke is pressed close, skin's width away. It is a diseased thing, pustulant and lacking in geometry. Cysts and cancers and an ache like a heartbreak that has had eternity to turn septic. A tendril of black ichor extends to stroke your face. It is all you remember before suddenly you are at the surface again. You've done as the parson, as the scorn fluke, wished. Somehow this will help the cult prosper, we've decided. Describing something as lacking in geometry is a really good way of communicating that you can't even really understand it. Something has changed. Something in the gasping air, the texture of light, the smell of Worlebury juxtamare. Perhaps it is the diminished presence of the Bureau officials, how their swagger has tautened to fear. Perhaps it is the number of tourists with glass in their eyes, their smiles like they'd caught a fever bright. The cult grows. I have done everything I can, apparently. The cultists take you to the off-season, a parade of laughing faces, their most anomalous features swallowed in colorful silk. No reason to frighten the locals, after all. It is a party at the chapel, all the joyousness of a birth married to the fanfare of matrimony. The walls shudder with melody so profoundly strange that it grinds through the axial of your bones. There is something in the air, too, a smell as sweet as summer and more intoxicating than love. It clings to you. It may stay forever. The cultists laden you with praise and presents, reassurances of a radiant future. You have accomplished a deed. A new facet will be unlocked for future captains of this lineage. Oh, that's interesting. You've done as the parson. Somehow this will help the cult prosper. Your encounter with the scorn fluke has left an indelible mark. You now have one crimson promise. So we're still encountering new types of, what are these called, possessions? And also I have a caged catch and some uncanny specimens. I don't know who gave me these, but okay, thank you. Thank you, I'll take them. Okay, it seems like maybe we should leave forever now? What happens if I go visit the cult now? We have a word with the parson. His voice is water, warm, hypnotic. Ah, there is a new light to his fever-burnished stare, a hunger deep as the throat of the sea. We are rejuvenated. When I sleep, there is another edge to their songs, something better than before. You could not have cheered the scorn fluke, could not have saved it, but it got something of value from you, and the parson knows this. Man, what would have been the other option if we'd been able to, if we had, studied with the choirs? Communed with the choirs? Commiserated with the choirs? Whatever it was, if we had done that, I wonder how this would have turned out. This might be a thing we could try to do with our next character, actually. But I guess we're done here? Let us back to the off-season, and then back over to the touristy part of Worlebury, and let's try to lose some terror, huh? The permit is oxblood wax and gold leaf, vellum as sleek as the cheek of a newborn babe. And the clothes that you're given are beautiful, but nothing like the couturier had offered, a madness of cuts and fashions. You are sent off through the gate, and this way around, it feels like salt on your skin, like sandpaper paring you to bone, like desert air, like first heartbreaks, last goodbye. You emerge on the other side, smelling faintly of cigarettes and steak pie. Weird. Alright, well, let's meet a New Line Street passenger in the haunted house. We have a person to take to a place. Next stop is Lustrum. Then we may as well write a port report, right? We are not going to think at all about the strangeness of these lanes. Let's just hang out and look at all the nice shops. And then we're gonna do whatever else seems quiet and pleasant. Oh, you know how I love those rubbery lumps. I just can't get enough of all of these lumps. Then we drink a lot of tea. Just all of the tea. And steal all of the crockery, of course. And then, can we, again with the tea? Yes, I love the tea. Alright, 33%. That's not, like, horrible. Well, I suppose let's leave swiftly and then maybe try to buy our way back in. We have uncanny specimens now. So let's gain admittance, and we're just gonna hang out and not think too much about any of the things that we're seeing, because I need to lose terror so much. Yeah, more. We haven't been down to the beach since we learned what's going on here. Although, did we even really learn what's going on here? I feel like I still have a lot of questions. Let's just go ahead and eat some more rubbery lumps. Or maybe just hold them? Probably don't eat them, because I have some concerns about what they might be made out of. More tea. So yeah, we're going to be able to get our terror down pretty low here. Okay, we get to do one more. And then we have to leave. 8%. Not bad. Honestly, like, that's a pretty good value for us to have ended up at, considering the thing that we went through while we were here. Sure, I'll take all these munitions. Who doesn't love munitions? And we don't really need to buy fuel or supplies right at this moment, I don't think. We could buy some literature. But, like, the only thing I was going to do with it was take it to the Avid Horizon anyway. Yeah, screw it. Let's just get back to London, if we can make it. I wonder if going back into the mist, bringing up the diseased scorn fluke with an eye, might actually be, like, a positive thing for us to do now, because it seems to like us. You know what? It may like me. I'm still not crazy about it. Maybe let's just never interact with it again. Well, we checked a couple of things off of our list today. I wanted to pursue the thing with the cult, and we did, as far as it appears we are able to do, because I did not have whatever the hell it was that I needed to get the good ending to that event. It is an interesting piece of knowledge that we will carry forward, except that I will certainly forget it by the time that our next character could have anything to do with the cult. And we did the Dismal Chamberlain thing. What else was on my list? Hold on, let me tab over to Notepad. The Wreck of the Boatman, the Worlebury Cult, the Dismal Chamberlain, the Regent's Grave, by the Mullet class engine. So actually, we're kind of done in London, or we're kind of done in Albion. let's head back to London. We'll end today's episode in London. And we need to maybe fly back out to the Royal Society to finish exchanging the things that we can exchange for money. Because we, obviously, we're going to be headed back to the Reach very soon. And there are trades that have to be made here, on this side. I'm going to kill this guy. He doesn't suspect a thing, I'm sure. How? How did I manage to miss that? It's very embarrassing. Oh my god, die! Keep checking the navigation suite. I'm pretty sure the navigation suite is how we just sort of like accidentally got a... Wait, there's something lootable up there. It's how we just accidentally got a moment of inspiration from one of them, so I'm still hoping that'll occur. Okay, more crockery. You know, it's remarkable that it survives whatever the circumstance is that ends up with a whole lot of luggage floating in the sky. So was that 7 or 8 nameplates? It turns out we may have to go to Lustrum anyway to get the moment of inspiration necessary to buy the Retronaut. So I suppose we can drop off the New Street Line passenger and then see if there's any kind of reward for having done that a couple of times when we get back to London to finish the ambition. Can I go... Okay, I can go above this. Can I cross this thing? Is this a... It's just thick enough that it's hard to tell. I think that's a no. I think that is on the same plane I am on, not over top of it. And yeah, I gotta say, this was a productive episode. I thought there was a chance that we might be retiring this character by now, but it's definitely going to be a little while longer. We actually, we can't complete the Regent's Grave until August 1st, so we actually have a little while to just screw around and make money, I guess. I might do some of that off camera, just like go back to the Reach and do menial stuff. Okay, need to turn train. There we go. Okay, another permit. 8 nameplates now. There's almost always a dreadnought or 2 right outside Port Prosper. Like, I have no great concerns about getting the nameplates necessary. That should be pretty easy. I can't remember where we were at with the Horological Society. What was our deal with them? We went and adjusted some clocks somewhere. I guess we may as well just swing in and check. My journal's got so much stuff in it now that it's, Ow! I really collided with that. I was kind of hoping that hitting Doc would cause me not to slam into the wall there. Alright, well, we could, I suppose, at this moment, take on a new assignment. Trust you're ready for your next assignment. Sure, let's see what's up. We don't necessarily have to do it. Hurry up and tell them they're living in the past, or possibly the future. Either way, not in the now. An intolerable state of affairs. I have an assignment in Port Avon. I'm sure they will love to hear it. I don't really want to interact with the Ministry of Public Decency. Okay. Let's just move on here. So we could probably make some more money by going back to Parliament. Setting up another law to be burned by Her Majesty's staff. That paid pretty well last time. I don't think we should have any trouble with money. So we have all this stuff we can trade in. We also still have all the trade goods that we've just stored in the bank. That's probably at least a couple thousand. It should be no problem at all to purchase our liner. We're gonna be, yeah, we are gonna end up being done with everything well before we hit the year and the day on the Regent's Grave. I don't really know what there is to do in the interim. Like, we don't want to really pick up any new stuff, right? Okay. As ever, please repair my train. You know it's dangerous out there in the sky. Don't ask too many questions about why I always need repairs. Made in our one port report. So bronzewood for Parliament and crockery for the Most Serene Mausoleum. You know, the Most Serene Mausoleum is not that far away. And we have more than enough crockery. That's a thing we could do. It gives us a way of passing some time. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Let's, is there anything else I want to do right this instant? I guess I'm going to throw all of this stuff in the bank. I'm going to buy us some more fuel and some more supplies. And then I think right here is where we will leave it for today. So that's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. We're very nearly done with our list, and as such, very nearly done with this character. I'm excited to see exactly what the truth ambition holds for us. Maybe we'll finally figure out some of the things that so far have seemed impenetrably mysterious. I can't imagine what else the truth might be. So come back next time to maybe see us begin to embark on that. And we'll see you then.